of the Aurora City Council for Monday, May 19, 2025 is called to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman,
Here.
Councilmember Bergen,
Here.
Councilmember Coombs,
Present.
Councilmember Gardner, Councilmember Hancock,
Here.
Councilmember Drinsky,
Here.
Councilmember Cassaw,
Here.
Councilmember Lawson, Councilmember Medina, Councilmember Medina,
I'm here.
Councilmember Murillo,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Sunberg. Mayor Pro Tem Sunberg, you're muted.
Here. Thank you.
There's a quorum.
Oh, very well. Do we need to do an announcement for the public call-in line?
If we can, Mayor, just because we do have agenda items that may have speakers.
Very well. Please proceed. Are we ready for the announcement of the public call-in line?
Scott, are you able to unmute and assist with this?
Well, we can do that later on then. Is it?
Yeah, that works. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Please join me in an attitude of prayer and an invocation. O Lord, our God and our Father, we come to you and ask that you look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industry, sound education, good government. Unite our community together, even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there be justice and peace in our city. Give the city council and citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of our community. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for
which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See, land acknowledgement. The city of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous people have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed. And we are called to be better stewards of the land and have it as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Executive session update. During executive session, we discussed the disposition of real property and litigation. Approval of the minutes for May 5th, 2025. Motion is in order. Sorry.
Sunberg.
Mayor, move the approval of the minutes for May 5th, 2025 are moved by Mayor Pro Tem Sunberg, seconded by
Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen. Discussion?
Mayor Murillo.
Councilmember Moreno.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight and reaffirm based on the conversation last week when we were not allowed to get clarification on the resolution that was trying to disallow council members for speaking at the Capitol, that City Attorney Schulte at the end of the meeting did affirm that we can state that we are council members, but as long as we are representing ourselves individually and not speaking on behalf of the full council, and that would not be censurable. So I just want that to be on record again, since we were not afforded the opportunity to say that during the debate. Thank you.
Sorry, do you have an amendment to the meeting, to the minutes?
No, I was just reaffirming that was the case, because we were, myself and Councilmember Coombs were not allowed to finish speaking or even asking questions or have debate or any public process on this, because the question was called and the majority of council shut down debate. So I am just reaffirming that was what was said at the end of the meeting, when our City Attorney Schulte was actually able to respond to the questions that we had before the question was called. So no questions.
I'm sorry, further discussion? Seeing none seeing none, call for the question on the approval of the minutes for May 5th, 2025.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Hancock,
Yes, I'm unable to get on the e-scribe, so yes.
Councilmember Bergen,
I believe I put it in e-scribe, yes.
thank you. The motion passes with 9 yes votes to adopt the May 5th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Declare announcement. Council wants to receive public input on agenda items. You are asked to follow the same rules that council follows, including no attacks of a personal nature. We would ask you to refrain from using profanity, as children may be watching. As mayor, I've been asked by council to admonish speakers for non-compliance. Please respect those who are speaking, whether you agree with the content or not. Outbursts from anyone are not permitted. Public comment on agenda items is limited to council rules to 30 minutes total, and each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Comments on agenda items must be related to the agenda item. If a speaker does not address the particular agenda item, council has asked that I provide only one warning. If after that one warning, the person continues to not address the particular agenda item, the person's time to speak will end immediately and the microphone will be shut out.
And Mayor, if we could, before we get into the rest of the agenda items, if Katie or somebody could just read the call-in number, just so we've got that for people that want to call in.
Okay.
I believe, Scott, can you unmute? If not, then I will.
Katie, I'm also available if you want.
Okay, yeah, could you do it?
I'm
Hello?
I'm good. We're good audio wise here.
Okay, so Tia, can you read the call-in line information?
Katie, this is Gabriela.
Yes.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Yep. The public is invited to comment on agenda items during the regular council meeting. If you'd like to speak and have not already spoken to an operator, please press *3. For those watching on Aurora TV, call 855-695-3475 and press *3 when connected. You will hear a prompt confirming you are in line to speak to an operator and then be able to continue listening to the meeting. When the operator comes online, please be ready to give them your name, the agenda item you wish to speak on, and provide the name of the city in which you reside. Keep in mind, you must press *3 before the city clerk reads the title of the item you wish to speak on. Also, please note that harassing or abusing treatment of our operators will not be tolerated and will result in the caller being disconnected. Finally, as a reminder, council does not allow comments on non-agenda matters during the regular council meeting. Each speaker will have maximum 3 minutes. Thank you.
Next order of business is the adoption of the agenda, and the motion is in order.
Mayor Bergen,
Councilmember Bergen,
motion to approve the agenda.
been moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by, second by, Councilmember Casal, to adopt the agenda. Discussion? I'm seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Hancock, Councilmember Hancock,
Yes.
thank you.
I can hear Katie now.
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
the motion passes with 9 yes votes to adopt the agenda.
Next item before us is,
Music hold ended.
next item is approval of the consent calendar on motions. Item number 9C1 to 9C3. Discussion? I'm sorry, motion is in order.
Mayor Bergen,
Councilmember Bergen,
motion to approve 9C1 through 9C3.
moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by,
So.
seconded by Councilmember Casal, to approve item number 9C1 and 9C3. Discussion?
Yes, Mayor Hancock?
Councilmember Hancock.
I might be confused here, but I thought that we had decided to discuss the Veteran Affairs Commission existence at this point. Am I getting two things mixed up here?
So Councilmember Hancock, that would come on a later ordinance. And so as of today, the Veterans Affairs Commission still exists. So the advice is to proceed with the agenda as it's written, and if an ordinance passes and goes into effect later, then we'll handle that then. But this should go forward as on the agenda.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on motions. Item number 9C1 to 9C3. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Hancock, Councilmember Murillo, Councilmember Murillo.
Yeah.
Thank you. The motion passes with 9 yes votes to adopt the consent calendar for motions.
Next item before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on resolutions and ordinances. Item number 10A1 to 10B3. Motion is in order.
Mayor Bergen,
Councilmember Bergen. It's
Motion
moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by,
Durinsky.
I'm sorry, who's seconded by
Durinsky.
Councilmember Jarinski. Discussion?
Mayor
Seeing no, I'm sorry, who was that?
Murillo,
Councilmember Maria.
can I pull 10A5?
Yes. Okay. Further discussion? Seeing none, then the question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on resolutions and ordinances. 10A1 through 10A4. And, the 10A1 through 10B4
Yeah, 10B1 to 10B3, Mayor.
and 10B3. Okay, 10B1 to 10B3. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of the consent calendar on resolutions and ordinances as amended.
Councilmember Hancock, yes, oh, thank you. The motion passes with 8 yes votes to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances.
Okay, now please read the title to item number 10A5.
Item 10A5 is Resolution 2025 57 to amend the rules of order and procedure for the Aurora, Colorado City Council concerning one person at the podium.
Mayor?
Councilmember Bergen.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain why this is showing up on your agenda again. I did have a discussion with the city attorney, and it was in our best interest as a council to remove the physical disabilities that was discussed at the last meeting. And instead, in the whereas clause, it does address the ADA compliance. So that is why I'm bringing it back with removing that portion, but yet putting it in the whereas clause. And I'll just say, it's my fault, but when we do amendments on the fly, it gets really difficult. So I would just, we used to do this in the past, but ask my colleagues respectfully, if in the future you do have an amendment, if you can get it to the sponsor ahead of time so that they can review it in writing, it probably would help avoid some confusion. I know it's not always possible, but anyway, that is the reason why I had to change it.
Any further comments by, any further comments by staff?
Mayor, if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Councilmember Byrd is correct. So after the fact, I know there was some discussion after the last meeting about the different types of ADA accommodations that could take place. And the reason the original version had this same language is that staff, the city staff, and Jason can chime in here as well, we are not going to violate the ADA. It was just impossible to get all the different variations in the actual rule itself. And that's why the whereas clause was included. Like, look, anybody who has a valid ADA accommodation, staff is not going to deny that when we're facilitating the portions of the council meetings in accordance with your rules. So it's not changing anything. It's just taking it out. So it's not limited to one area of the accommodation. Jason?
Nothing to add, Pete. I think you covered that. It's, yeah, we're going to follow the ADA. I think this is a nice amendment to make that clear. So nothing further.
A motion is in order, and then I'll go to discussion.
Mayor,
Councilmember Bergen.
motion to approve 10A5.
So moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by
Hancock.
Councilmember Hancock to approve item number 10A5. Discussion. Councilmember Coombs.
Yeah, so why would it not be possible to include it in the text of the rules? Like, my understanding is that recitals are more about declaring legislative intent and values. So if, as a matter of course, we will always provide appropriate accommodation, why would we not put that in the rules?
City Attorney.
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Cruz, what I would say is that we will always, as far as your council rules and the city charter and the state law, we will always follow the law. So I think it would be duplicative to put it in as stated, but it's not necessary because we are always going to follow the law when we're dealing with any issue that comes forward that could cause that.
Okay, further discussion. Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption.
Mayor.
Councilmember Mario.
Mayor, you got to take a breath. I
Yeah,
can
but
barely
it'd be
unmute
good to,
before.
if people could put their electronic hand up, that would be helpful.
Okay, okay, I will do that in the future. Yeah, no, I had similar questions, and I appreciate the compromises that were made in the last meeting to include some disabilities, and I'm glad that you know, obviously my preference was to be more broad, and I'm happy to see that the language was amended just to be clear that we have to comply with federal law, you know, other laws as well. So just happy to see that that was amended. So so I appreciate that. I do not support limiting the amount of folks at the podium, but I will say I think this was an example of, you know, where we could have some dialogue and some back and forth, which I don't think we get to do so often anymore. So just want to thank the sponsor for that.
Further discussion on item number 10A5. Seeing none, question before us is the adoption of item number 10A5. Call for the question.
Councilmember Hancock,
Yes.
The motion passes with 6 yes votes, 2 no votes from Councilmember Medina and Mario to adopt item 10A5.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12A.
Item 12A is introduction of ordinance 2025-46, amending chapter 62 of the city code related to neglected or derelict buildings or property.
Councilmember Hancock.
So we did make some slight amendments to this at last council meeting, after the last council meeting. And if Jessica is online here, she can opine a little bit further. But I think that we've come to a good compromise here, and I'm ready to move forward. I'm asking for my colleagues' support and approval.
Presentation by staff.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. As Councilmember Hancock stated, we did make some changes. There's also a memo attached to your packet wherein we outlined some of the changes and also just some clarifications based on the questions that were posed during the last study session. So I will just run through those very quickly and then happy to take any questions. Historic preservation was already called out within the ordinance, so wanted to make sure that was highlighted. The Historic Preservation Commission has to weigh in on these, so they will obviously be notified. We changed up some of the owner and public notification requirements. The owner will be notified. There will be posting on the property from a public notification perspective. There will also be a posting in the paper, as well as a published list on the website ongoing of different properties that qualify under this ordinance. We also just included the requirements that the property must meet in order to be deemed a derelict and neglected property. This is not the first step in the process. It is really kind of the last resort after we've gone through our normal code process. So there's 6 different criteria that the property must meet at least one of those different criteria. So this again is after the regular process. There's also an appeal process if a property owner feels that they have been placed on this list or petitioned to the court and they don't agree with that. So there is that piece. And then the last piece that was asked about was if the property has really become a nuisance. And so there was already within the ordinance a definition of neighborhood nuisance, which is outlined here, wherein the property is really impacting those surrounding properties or the community at large. As well as we mentioned during the study session, we would not look necessarily at the criminal component. However, a criminal nuisance could be concurrently happening on the property at the same time where calls for service and any other criminal activity is looked at on the property. So again, this ordinance is really adding another tool to our toolkit where the regular code process is not working for that property, and we deem it to be petitioned to the court and be able to have the property owner, again, have an extra remedial plan put in place. And if that doesn't work, have a receiver put in place so we can either get the property cleaned up, keep people housed while we're making those life safety adjustments, or take other steps to be able to remediate and get the property into compliance. Happy to take any questions.
Questions of the sponsor or staff? Seeing none, motion is in order on item number 12A.
So moved, Mayor.
Moved by Councilmember Hancock, seconded by,
Jurenski.
I'm sorry, second by,
That's out.
well,
Jurenski.
was that you, Councilmember Drinsky, on a
Yes.
second? Okay, I think you were before Councilmember Castle. Okay, moved by Councilmember Hancock, seconded by Councilmember Drinsky to approve item number 12A. Discussion? Seeing no further discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12A.
The motion passes with 8 yes votes to adopt item 12A.
Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 12B?
Item 12B is introduction of ordinance 2025-47, amending section 5137 of the city code pertaining to changing the name of one of the departments. The court administrator provides management, organization, and financial control from case management to court services.
Brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, City Council. Candace Atkinson, Court Administrator, Detention Director. This is pretty straightforward. We're just changing it from case management to court services to help with compensation and recruitment, and it requires an ordinance change.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, motion is in order on the adoption of item number 12B.
Mayor, motion.
It's moved by Councilor Cassar, seconded by we're burning some daylight.
Jurenski.
By Councilmember Jurenski. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on item number 12B.
Councilmember Hancock. Councilmember Bergen.
Yes, it went through.
The motion passes with 8 yes votes to adopt item 12B.
Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 13A?
Item 13A is finalizing of ordinance 2025-43, appropriating sums of money in addition to those appropriated in ordinances numbers 2023-52, 2024-18, and 2024-80 for the 2024 fiscal year, and ordinance number 2024-72 for the 2025 fiscal year.
Brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and members of Council. Tyler Phillips, Budget Program Manager in the Budget Office. The 2025 Spring Supplemental Ordinance includes final adjustments for 2024 and initial adjustments for 2025. I will, as quickly as possible, provide a high-level overview of each year, and then department representatives and I can address any specific questions you may have. For 2024, all significant items in the general fund were either projected and included in the 2025 adopted budget or are technical with no impact to the fund balance. It's also worth noting that despite additional appropriations in a few departments, these are more than offset by savings in other departments when evaluating the general fund in total. For all other funds, most items are technical or were previously reviewed by council with few exceptions. Moving on to 2025. Significant items in the general fund include requests to add 3 FTE to various departments. This includes 1 FTE in the finance department and 1 FTE in the HR department to support the city's new paid time off policy, which will be completely offset by savings generated from a change in how the city approaches short-term disability benefits. The 3rd FTE is for an assistant city attorney to build out the city's litigation section and to be less reliant on outside counsel. In other funds, there are a few significant items from the packet that I'd like to highlight. First, 2 supplemental items add 3 FTE, which are shared across the water and wastewater funds to enhance Aurora Water's cybersecurity. These include 1 senior security analyst and 2 network engineers. Finally, there were 3 supplementals in the Capital Projects Fund submitted by the Court Administration Department that represented different components of upgrades to the courthouse. During the first reading of this ordinance on May 9th, Council agreed to remove the $5.5 million courthouse security expansion component. Thus, the version that you are voting on tonight excludes that portion of the project. The remaining items in 2025 are either technical, one-time appropriations, or previously reviewed by Council. That concludes my presentation, and department directors and staff are available for questions.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, a motion is in order for the adoption of item number 13A.
Mayor, I move to approve 13A.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Sunberg, seconded by
Bergen.
Hancock.
seconded by Councilmember Bergen to approve item number 13A. Discussion. Seeing no discussion. Question before us is the adoption of item number 13A. Call for the question.
Councilmember Hancock. The motion passes with 8 yes votes to adopt item 13A.
Will clerk now please read the title to item number 14A?
Item 14A is public hearing and consideration of ordinance 2025-48, annexing a parcel of land located in the northeast quarter of Section 6, Township 4 South, Range 65 West of the 6th Principal Meridian, City of Aurora, County of Arapahoe, State of Colorado.
Brief presentation by staff.
Yep. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Justin
Open up
Andrews.
the public hearing. My virtual gavel. Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. My name is Justin Andrews, Project Manager with the Office of Development Assistance and Development Services. The annexation ordinance being introduced tonight is for a city-owned 56.5-acre parcel of land. This parcel of land is in Arapahoe County and generally located south of East Colfax Avenue and just east of East 14th Avenue. There should be a vicinity map in your council packet. The process for annexing the city-owned parcel meets the city requirements for an annexation and does follow Colorado state law. The annexation ordinance will be considered at this meeting as the ordinance is introduced and then followed by a regular city council meeting on June 9th for the final reading of the ordinance. Once city jurisdiction is established by this annexation ordinance, this property will undergo the initial zoning ordinance process separately with an anticipated MUR zoning, and this area is planned to be a detention facility for Aurora Water. There's no presentation from Aurora Water, but there are representatives available if there are any questions.
Let me go then. If does anybody wish to be heard on this issue?
No.
Very well. Questions of staff? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. And a motion is in order.
Move to approve 14A.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Sundberg, seconded by
Hancock.
I'm going to give it to second by Councilmember Hancock. To approve item number 14A. Discussion. Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 14A.
Councilmember Hancock,
Yes.
Councilmember Bergen,
Yes.
the item passes with 8 yes votes for item 14A.
Reports. Oh, I'm sorry. General business, item number 16A.
Thanks, Mayor. Council, this is our regularly scheduled 16A discussion of possible action regarding future in-person virtual council meetings. If there's any interest in changing the June 9th meeting, this would be the time to bring the vote.
Discussion. So no action means we revert back to regular. We revert back to in-person.
Yes, Mayor. So everything will be back normal on June 9th. We'll be back in person with all the meetings, with the regular public comment, and then the council meeting starting at 6:45. Okay.
Reports. I was in New Taipei City last week, courtesy or hosted by new Taipei City government. No local tax dollars were spent. I think the most valuable part of it was going to a medical research campus that had the same component parts that we do on the CU Anschutz Medical Campus and the Fitzsimmons Innovation Community with the clinical. They had a hospital, they had a research arm, and then they had the academic all on the same campus. They, from a regulatory standpoint, they have an easier time at clinical trials than we do. Inherently, they're a manufacturing economy by and large. So in terms of medical devices, they're seem to be a little bit more advanced than us. And so, but I think it'd be great to compare notes from their campus to our campus to see what we can learn.
You said June 2nd.
Let's see, Councilmember Coombs.
No report.
Let's see, Councilmember Gardner, I think it's gone. Right. Councilmember Jurenski.
Yes, thank you. First and foremost, I do send my condolences to the Kylan Lewis family. The legal term for what happened to Kylan, it is murder. That is the technical term. It is murder. But what it is it's justified murder. And that is that's what is decided. But I was given the legal advice that to say Kylan Lewis was murdered is not out of line and it is not incorrect. He was murdered, but it was found to have been justified. I think I said on the Brother Jeff show about 10 times that he was killed. I did once say that he was murdered, but I was given the legal advice that actually is also the actual correct legal terminology. With that, I do send my condolences to the Kylan Lewis family. I have multiple times, but because there are attorneys involved, I made very clear that no one on this council is supposed to reach out directly to the family. I have also asked that this be turned over to a court of law to decide justice. I made a plea on the Brother Jeff show. You guys have an attorney. I asked that you file the lawsuit and let a jury of Kylan's peers decide what happened. So I just wanted to clear up that point, since it seems that's going to be the new talking point, that Councilmember Jurenski stated that Kylan Lewis was murdered. With that, I attended the city's WaterWise event this past Saturday. Tons of fun. I appreciate 2 years in a row now what the city has done to put that event on. It was a little cloudy, a little overcast, but it was a great event. And I look forward to seeing what becomes of that next year.
Thank you. Councilmember Costello.
So last week I attended the APD Memorial Fallen Officer at the Aurora Memorial Gardens, and it was a very powerful event. And also Councilwoman Stephanie and Bergen, they were present at the time. It was very powerful. And then also I had the opportunity to attend the Myers and the Commissioner Youth Award to support those young kids. And then last week I was also attended the Beckley Airspace, the Civil Air Patrol, the cadets, and that helps our kids more to be, to be disciplined. And so that was a good program that they have in the Beckley Airspace Force. And with that, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry, Councilmember Murillo.
Thanks, Mayor. A couple of things. I want to wish every mom in Aurora and out there a happy belated Mother's Day. I hope you were celebrated and celebrated your loved ones on this Sunday. And for our community members from Mexico, we celebrate usually the day before. So happy belated Mother's Day. And then just a reminder that my monthly town hall will be this Thursday, May 22nd at the MLK Library, 6 to 7:30. And we will be taking a break in the months of June and July and resume back in August. So hope to see you there. Have a good night.
Mayor Pro Tem Sunberg.
Thanks, Mayor. I attended the kickoff of Prehistoric Aurora at the History Museum. Mayor, I told them that you wanted to be there, but you were afraid you might get thrown in with the fossil display.
Oh, no. That's not
true. I said it. I went to WaterWise Day also. I also went to the Aurora Youth Water Day. About 1,000 kids over at Community College of Aurora. This has been happening for 32 years in conjunction with the Community College of Aurora. Fascinating to see all the kids just immersed in all the activities, wanting to learn. Attended Armed Forces Recognition Luncheon. Saw Councilwoman Hancock there. Mayor, we went to the 48th bridge opening on E470. Councilwoman Bergen was there. It was like a monsoon. I left shaking hypothermic. But that is a very important piece of infrastructure that is now open to tie different, east and west, and the Windler development pretty soon. And then sadly, Beck is announced to close. The city will begin, however, some extensive surveying of residents to find out what they want in a rec center. Kind of what happened with the Southeast Rec Center, Councilwoman Bergen, if you remember. A lot of the public came, they put a little pin on, hey, I want a field house, I want a steam room, I want pickleball. So the public is going to have a say in what they want their next rec center to look like, as well as the next library in Ward 2. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I also attended the waterways around the water conservation. I also went to the walk and roll over at the Active Adult Center where they walked around, walk around the Del Mar Center there as well. Then I also went to a kind of a soft opening of the Orejano Empanada shop that will be opening here in a couple weeks at 800 South Havana, which was the old Steve-O's there on the Havana bid theirs. That's mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hancock.
Thank you, Mayor. As was previously mentioned by Councilmember Kassah and others, that we had great times together this past week. I wanted to mention, though, it's important, if you haven't gone online to do the Build Up Aurora survey, it's really important to do that, because this is your time to have a voice in what goes on in our city, how we spend your dollars to make our city better. So if you haven't gone online, please visit the aurora.gov website and go on out and fill out that survey. We've been handing out flyers everywhere we go, and if you've gone to anyone's town meetings, I'm sure you're seeing that information there as well. But it's really important for you to participate in this survey, and also go visit the Aurora History Museum for our dynamic dinosaur exhibit. It's really cool. So that concludes my report for this week. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Let's see. Councilmember Lawson is at, I believe, the National League of Cities, if I'm correct in that.
She's at ICSD.
Oh, ICS. What does that stand for?
International Shopping Centers, something.
Okay. Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you, Mayor. A lot happened in the last couple weeks. Of course, as mentioned by Councilmember Sundberg, I attended the 48th Avenue interchange ribbon cutting. I was one of the speakers representing E470 and the city of Aurora. But as he said, we were soaking wet and the wind was blowing. So fun event. We had a good time, and it is a very important connection for economic development, especially with the Windler development happening right now. Also then attended the HBA Housing Summit, and I actually do think Councilmember Sundberg and Kassah were there as well. Very interesting, just their perspective on what the housing market looks like. And they talked about construction defect. They were happy with some of the movement in the construction defect reform that was made, but did not feel very optimistic that it would actually bring about significant change. Had the Management and Finance Policy Committee. I had E470 executive board meeting, regular board meeting. I had my Region 9 opioid meeting as well. Planning and Economic Development Policy Committee, the Aurora Economic Development board meeting, and I attended the Police Fallen Officer Memorial. Always try to get there every single year to pay my respects. And then I also attended the Waterwise Day on Saturday. The speakers are excellent. It's I always learn something. Last year was our first year, and it's just very, very informational. And then lastly, my town hall is this Wednesday at the Towns Reach Library from 6 to 8, and we will have Greg Hayes talking about the budget, very timely, followed by the Build Up Aurora presentation and my general updates. That's it.
Let me mention one thing. Some people might be wondering when I mentioned the importance of bioscience research and what does Aurora have to do with bioscience research. And and myself, Councilmember Bergen, and Councilmember Gardner sit on the Fitzsimmons Innovation Community. And that is a joint venture between the University of Colorado and the city of Aurora to promote and expand bioscience research on the Anschutz Medical Campus on the northern part of the campus. So I know it sounds strange, but it's $7 billion estimated annual economic impact. So it's very important. Let me also say that Global Fest, the date has historically or usually we've done it on the in August, and we are now, the city is moving it to cooler weather on June 14th from 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening. It will be on the Great Lawn, which is between the Aurora Municipal Center and the Aurora Central Library. With that, being no other business before the Aurora City Council, meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.